Thank you all so much for joining. Orly Wahba here, founder of Abraham's Legacy and Netilat. And on behalf of myself and behalf of Naomi's Uplifting events, I'm so excited to welcome you to our very special Netilat and Lag Baomer event. We have a great program in store for you. And before we get to our incredible speakers, I just want to give a few thank yous. I want to give a very big thank you to my partner in all of this, Naomi from Naomi's Uplifting events, who happened to and I want to give a very big mazal tov to her. She just had a beautiful baby boy. And she's even though she just had a baby boy, she's joining us. So mazal tov to Naomi. Thank you so much for all of your help. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out from your busy schedules with everything that you have going on and choosing to be here. And of course, I want to give a very big thank you to Hashem for giving me the opportunity to work on this incredible project, helping to infuse more meaning into this incredible Mitzvah of Netillah Yadayim, that we're doing this on a monthly basis. But I want to give you a quick idea of what our agenda is going to be. We have two incredible speakers that are going to be sharing about the amazing connection between the Mitzvah of Netilat Yadayim and the amazing upcoming Chag of Lag Baomer. After we're going to hear from both of our speakers, at the end, we're going to be doing a Tehillim read in unison through the Abraham's Legacy Tehillim app. For those of you that are joining from their computer, feel free to grab out your phone and you can download Abraham's Legacy. It's a free app that was created in memory of my grandfather, Alav Shalom, Avraham ben Polin. And we're going to join together in unison for a 6-minute period to read Tehillim through the app. And as we do, we have the ability in a 6-minute time period to finish an entire book of Tehillim. So please feel free to download the app. We'll make sure to be putting links for you to do that there. If you're not joining or you do not have a smartphone, not to worry, you'll be able to join by simply grabbing a book of Tehillim or opening up your heart and speaking to Hashem from your heart. And at the very end, we are also going to be doing a raffle, and you have the opportunity to sign into that raffle now. I'll be placing a link throughout the course of tonight's event that you can simply fill out your email address and your name. And at the very end of the program, we're going to be doing a drawing to win a 100% pure copper Netilat cup. This is a beautiful gift, not only for yourself, but to give to someone else. And hopefully we're going to hear as well more information about Netilat and its connection, its relevance with the incredible material of Nechoshet and its connection, as you've seen just shortly for those of you that have already watched the video that we just put up. So I'm very excited to be introducing our first speaker, Rabbi Yehoshua Gerzi. Now, Rabbi Gerzi is a community rabbi. He's an international lecturer, a musician, a martial artist, sport and physical therapist, and an avid reader. He is widely embraced for his unique contribution to Hasidic thought, particularly in practical day-to-day living. And Rabbi Yehoshua Gerzi was born and raised in Hendon, London. In his youth, he attended yeshivot in England and Eretz Israel. And after marrying Rebbetzin Judith Gerzi, who is an incredible woman all on her own, he studied in Kollel in London while working as a physical therapist, a music instructor, teacher, counselor, and lecturer. In 2004, Rabbi Gerzi made Aliyah to Eretz Israel, and we're very lucky to have him here. And he moved to Beit Shemesh with Rebbetzin Judith, a professional musician, an artist, a lecturer, and therapist. And together they started working and teaching. And in 2009, the Gurzis settled in the Ramat Shiloh neighborhood of Ramat Beit Shemesh to formally launch the Pilsno community and begin building the Beit HaMidrash. And so I'm so excited. I'm honored to have as our first guest, Rabbi Yehoshua Gerzi, who will be speaking to us about the Mitzvah of Netilat Yadayim and the Lag Baomer connection. Without further ado, Rabbi Gerzi, thank you so much for being here.
Shalom uvracha to everybody. And I just want to share, I don't know who you're speaking about, but they sound amazing. Baruch Hashem. So, okay. First of all, it's a humbling experience that we can do this. Anytime we can share something, we can give over some ideas. I think it's fantastic. And thank you to the organizers. You know, to organize something like this is not poshut. To organize something like this, to really give your time, give your energy. And I'm very grateful and very thankful that I could be part of something like this. And just hakar satov, a big gratitude for anybody who organizes anything. I know what it's like, and it's very special. Toda rabba, thank you. And as well, I'm very excited that I'm going to hopefully hear the words of Rabbi Benji, Elson, Rabbi Yamin Elson, Rabbi Elson as well. Absolutely amazing. And I'm zoiche to be here with my wife. My wife is over here. And we're sitting outside because we got kicked out the house. It's too noisy in the house, kicked us out. But it looks like the kids may raid. If we see anything flying, don't worry. It's just normal. The kids who are meant to be in bed are not in bed. So we'll see what happens. So to share an idea for a couple of minutes is, it's very precious. I just think, maybe if we could just stop for a moment. If we could stop for a moment and take a couple of breaths, and wherever we have been today, whatever we've been doing today, if you want, you can close your eyes. When you close your eyes to the outside world, but then you can open your eyes to the inside world. And just for a moment, just to stop, and gratitude to every single person that's taken time to come into this space. And may it be a space where we uplift everyone, a space of caring, sharing, encouraging, and supporting. We have only a certain amount of time as we walk on this planet. And why should it not be good? Let it be awesome. Let it be good. Let it be healthy. And Be'ezras Hashem, I give myself a bracha, and I give all of you a bracha, all of us a bracha, that every moment we could be engaged, we could live, love, and matter. Be'ezras Hashem Yisbarach. So to share an idea about Lag Baomer. So first of all, the day is a day about Hakaras Hatov. It's a day of gratitude. Lag Baomer, we're told that after the Jews came out of Egypt, they stopped dying. We're told as well that the man, this spiritual, nutritious food, fell on Lag Baomer. We know as well famously that the students of Rabbi Akiva, they stopped dying. As well, my wife is telling me that I met her on Lag Baomer. I forgot. Apparently, it's very important. I met her in Lag Baomer. Yay! What I do remember, though, is Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai went into the cave, but then Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai came out of the cave. As well, the Medrash tells us that the Talmidei, Rabbi Akiva, the Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva, after this massacre, this 24,000 Talmidim dying from whatever happened, Rabbi Akiva took 5 new Talmidim on. So he said that was Lag Baomer. He gave them smicha, Lag Baomer. So there's a lot going on Lag Baomer, and we can go in many different directions. And listen, you've been Baruch Hashem, you've been doing this for a long time already, so you probably know everything about Netilat Yadayim, everything. You know everything about Netilat Yadayim. So I'm probably going to be saying the same as what other people said, and it's okay. It's Torah. May we be mechazek, and may we constantly remember the importance and build ourselves. And chazara is good. So we can start off by sharing an idea that the Gemara in Yevamos 62, and as well Gemara in Gittin 67 tells us that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was a student of Rabbi Akiva. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai learned with Rabbi Akiva in Bnei Brak for 13 years. They learned together. He was part of the Chabura. And why is this important? Because the Gemara tells us that all of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's teachings are taken from Rabbi Akiva. And Rabbi Akiva is very important in the story of Lag Baomer. And Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, one really important yesod that they represent is that of Sod, the mystical dimension of Torah. And there's many things we can say about Sod, but one idea that we can share about Sod, the secrets of Torah, it's very much about integration. The Torah of Kabbalah, the Torah of Sod, is about integration. That what we can say, Tumah, which is the Hebrew word for impurity, is unintegrated Kedusha, which is the word for purity and the word for holiness. That Kabbalah wants from us, the Kabbalah wants for us. It's an invitation to integrate every single aspect of our life to a much bigger mission, to that bigger mission of Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. And this idea of Rabbi Shimon and this idea of Rabbi Akiva, they represent this wanting that whatever's going on in our life, it's all connected to something much bigger. So much so, the way Rabbi Akiva left this world, Rabbi Akiva could have left this world. He was murdered. Rabbi Akiva was murdered, and he could have left this world and it was unintegrated. It was like got nothing to do with his mission. He was murdered. The Romans killed him and nothing to do with the mission. But no, when Rabbi Akiva lived his life, it was about integration, so much so that when Rabbi Akiva was being tortured to death, he said, I waited my whole life to understand Echad, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, that even his death was part of a greater integration process. What that means in our lives is that when we live life, whatever's going on, it should be a message for us to integrate. It should be a message to us to learn, to evolve. We say in our community, we have a sentence to turn every nisayon into a nasiya, to turn every frustration into a fascination. That we may be frustrated, but then all it takes is for a shift in thinking, a shift in our frameworks of thinking. And what can I learn from this? Who can I become from this? What can I become from this? And the hope is that as we live life, I want to become stronger. I want to become wiser. I want to become more enlightened. I want to become healthier. That's obviously probably what we would want. I want to become more resilient. I want to become more compassionate. Whatever we go through, we do have the ability to integrate. We have the ability to make that which could superficially seem very separate, we could bring it in. And that's one of the ideas of the Torah of Kabbalah. There's another idea which I think is very important just to share here. I thought at the beginning I was going to only be speaking to women. I understood it changed, but I think the message, I just want to say this message. I'm saying it to my wife, and I'll say it to all the wonderful women, that the Gemara in Yevamos tells us, 62, that Rabbi Akiva, he expressed that anything and everything that was his, it was his wife. That what we can say is that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's teacher was Rabbi Akiva. And Rabbi Akiva expresses that everything that he ever accomplished was his wife's doing. That support, that encouraging through thick and thin. And this is very much connected to the idea of Mesiras Nefesh. Mesiras Nefesh is, it's literally fighting for what you believe in. It's fighting for what you believe in. And through thick and thin, when we speak about the redemption process, always the women are there. The women were there with the story of Egypt, and through thick and thin, it's the women who have constantly encouraged us, the Jewish women who have picked us up, the mummies, the wives, the grandmothers, the aunties. They've constantly picked us up, and it hasn't ended. And it's an amazing reality, you know. In the Beis Hamikdash, the washing basement was made from the mirrors of the women. That was important. They encouraged the husbands. It's so this nakuda of Lag Baomer. On one hand, one idea of Lag Baomer, one idea of Pnimis HaTorah, the internal dimension of Torah. It's very much about integration. Whatever's going on in my life, I need to find a way to connect it to something much bigger. I need to find a way. I'm wanting to find a way. And that's how we make life meaningful. We can go through an experience, and that experience could be dark. It can hurt. It can breed discomfort. And what we can do, maybe you've experienced this when going through some sort of experience. You've made a change in your thinking. And through that change in your thinking, you've turned that which is dark, and you found this unbelievable power, and you can grow from it. It's integration. And as well, this idea of Mesiras Nefesh that we learn from the women, you know, the fundamentals of Judaism, whether a person is a Jew or not, kashrut, all of the fundamentals of emunah comes from the mummies. It comes from the Jewish women who constantly protect us and look after us. This idea of being Meisa Nefesh. What that looks like, Mesiras Nefesh, what that looks like is that we want to be living deep. We want to be living deep. We want to live, and we want to fight for what we believe in. We want to have, this is who I am. This is what I believe in. And then we want to go for it. We want to go for it. So if it's, for example, integration, everything is about yichud. Everything is about this oneness, this integration. Everything is about everything fitting together. I'm going to find a way. I'm going to fight for it. Mesiras nefesh ve'echad, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. You know, speaking to somebody today, and they right now are having a number of problems with a relative in their family, a relative. And I suggested to them, next time you speak to them, instead of fixating on how different you are, stop for a minute and speak a language of similarities. Where are you similar? Because at the end of the day, just as you want to be loved, they want to be loved. At the end of the day, just as you want to be respected, they want to be respected. At the end of the day, just as you want to be understood, they want to be understood. And they spoke to this relative, and they started the conversation just by trying to find points of connection. That was their Meisa Nefesh. In a macro way, their Meisa Nefesh. They said, I'm fighting for this in this conversation. I'm fighting to find what is similar. And they didn't let the other person go off in a tangent of what is so different between us. And it was a very encouraging conversation that in our life, we should choose, we can choose, we need to choose what our goal is, and we need to go for it. And as we said, two main ideas, Pnimis HaTorah, what Pnimis HaTorah births into the world, this internal dimension of Torah, what it births into the world, it births integration, this oneness that we want to live a life of peace. We want to live a life of respect. We want to live a life of dignity. We want to live a life of hope. We want to live a life where we are caring, sharing, encouraging, and supporting, because it's good. It's good. Life is lived better when we live with that. It's truly good, and we want to fight for it. We want to have our goal of that integration, of that achdus, of the ahava, of I'm fighting for love. I'm fighting for it. That's it. That's what's on my mind. Love, dignity, respect. And I'm going to fight for it. The integration, and then the Mesiras Nefesh. And when we are fixated on good, healthy things and we're fighting for it, what a meaningful life. What a powerfully driven life. And to tie it into Netilas Yadayim, when we're speaking about what we're fighting for, Mesiras Nefesh, we need that koach. We need that koach. We have to figure out what we're fighting for, and then we need that koach. The Kabbalists explain, and it's actually brought in the Svarim of Zidichov. The Zidichov, one of the Zidichov Rebbes, one of the Hasidic masters. He says as following: if you take the hands, in Hebrew, hand is yad. If you take the letters of yad, yud and dalad, yud is 10, dalad is 4. If you take one hand and another hand, yad plus yad, 14 plus 14 is what? 28, koach. So the idea, one idea of the hands, which I'm sure you've heard before, it represents strength. What am I Mesiras Nefesh for? What am I fighting for? What am I fighting for? The Zidichov Rebbe adds, he says as following, that if you take 28 koach, if you take 28 and you add 5, why 5? Because there's 5 parts to the soul. 5 parts to the soul, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. So you have the 5 parts of the soul. Lag Baomer, the 5 parts of the soul. What am I fighting for? What am I using my koach for? So if you take koach and the 5 parts of the soul, we are given, we're being shared this idea that we're all fighting for something. Question is, what are we fighting for? What are we fighting for? We want to be fighting for soul. We want to be fighting for love. We want to be fighting for integration. We want to be fighting for, as we said, dignity, respect, caring, sharing, loving, encouraging, and supporting. That's what we want to be fighting for. So many people are fighting for other things. Doesn't help us. And if we can sit and create a balance, a harmony, which is nechoshet, you have the idea of gold, silver, and nechoshet, copper. The idea of gold is the bigger picture. The idea of silver is specific. And the idea of copper is balance. That we want to keep a balance between what I'm fighting for and fighting for it. We want to be able to live a life where I'm integrated, which is the idea of nechoshet. I'm integrated, and I'm putting myself out there to live for something bigger than myself that's going to be healthy for the world. And just imagine a world where we're all using our koach. Imagine a world where each and every one of us, we're fighting for that love, dignity, and respect. We're fighting for that, wanting to understand the other. We're fighting for compassion. Imagine what that world would look like when we could take the koach of the Yadayim, when we could take the koach of the Yadayim, the Mesiras Nefesh. And again, a thank you to all the holy women who look after us and protect us and guide us and build us, that we could take this koach and we can take, as we said, the 5 parts of the soul, which add up to 33, Lag Baomer, that we could take these 5 parts of the soul and we live for something glorious. We live for something majestic. And we think day in, day out, how can I improve on it? How can I build on it? And even right now, take a moment, just stop for a moment before we end, and just look at the screen and look at the faces and just use your own koach and just look at each other and bless each other. Bless you. I wish you bracha, mazel, and hatzlacha. Allow yourself to see the faces and just smile. Bless each other. Why not? Just give each other the blessing of abundance, of goodness, feeling safe, feeling healthy. It's good. It's good to do. We could do it. We could do it. We could take our koach and then we can allow the 5 parts of the soul to shine through into the way that we live. And maybe as a takeaway, this is one of the ideas, this is one of the kavanas that we can have, a kavana that we can have as we wash our hands, is just to stop and look at this. I have hands. I have hands. I have koach. And as I wash my hands, I'm refining that koach. I'm refining that koach. And as I wash my hands, what am I going to do with my strength? What am I going to do with my individuality today? What am I going to do with me today? How am I going to make this world a more beautiful, wonderful, wondrous, fantastic, majestic, beautiful place? That's our choice. So I'll end here. And I just want to thank you all very, very much. An honor. And I'm excited to listen further.
Rabbi, I just want to thank you so much on behalf of everyone that is joining us live and all those that are going to be seeing this even afterwards for your words, because there's so much, they're so timely and so needed, especially as we're in the Omer, right? We're counting up towards something, towards becoming the best version of ourselves. And I thought what you said is so beautiful, the concept, right, of koach. We each have a koach, and if we are able to tap into that koach, we are actually able to repair the world in a tremendous way and really usher in the Geulah. All of our asiyah, and I speak about this when I talk about Netilat, right? All of our asiyah comes through our hands. Everything that we put into this world comes through our hands, whether it be in rearing our children or preparing our food or going to do work, all of it right? We might have thoughts in our mind, in our hearts, but we're able to put things into fruition from our hands. And so when our hands are purified and sanctified, we infuse that purity and sanctification into everything we touch. It's one of the reasons why I take this mitzvah very seriously, and why I am so grateful to Hashem for giving me the opportunity to speak about it on another level, because we can do the action. But if we realize when we're doing Netilat, what we're doing, this idea of purifying our hands, sanctifying our hands, so that everything that we're going to touch from that point on in our day, that same purity and sanctification is going to be infused into it. Because if all of us are fulfilling our purpose, if all of us are fulfilling our mission, bringing the Geulah is a team sport. It's a team sport where each and every one of us play a role. And that's why it's so important. So thank you so much for sharing those words. Really, absolutely beautiful. I appreciate you being here. And I cannot wait to meet you in person. I'm such a fan of your wife. You create such a beautiful home. So thank you. Thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Baruch Hashem, an honor. And I'm happy to be part of something bigger than just myself.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rabbi. Thank you.